Okay, Diddy. Go all the way back to the very beginning.
Before Street Fighter and all this stuff was going on. This is back in the arcade days. I was like a sophomore in high school. There was a game called Karate Champ, and it was kind of cheesy, but it pitted two, fighters fighting against each other, and you had these dual joysticks. So I was enamored by it because I like competition. I like fighting games. So they really didn't have a lot of fighting games back then. My buddy Fred, we was near the school, and he started challenging me in this Karate Champ. So yeah, of course, I figure I'm a expert video game player. He challenged me, and he knocked my man out. And in that old Karate Champ game, the person would be sitting out with their mouth open. And everybody started laughing because he was talking, look, your mouth is open, your mouth is open. So after that, I had developed a certain level of competition that I couldn't get disrespected like that. Yeah, Karate Champ was kind of weak, so I didn't really get good at it. But then my buddy had a Commodore 64, and he had this game called The Ways of Exploding Fist. I think I used to play some of that music when you were small. We used to fight. I used to be over his house all the time fighting him in that. I had got so good at that game. I couldn't lose. The computer couldn't beat me. I remember playing the game for like 4.5, 5 hours straight without a loss. That was the beginning. So then when I went to college, I went to school in New Orleans. And so we were always playing video games at this arcades in New Orleans. It started out with a game called Final Fight.
That people from Final Fight are on Street Fighter.
Yeah, so they all Capcom. But that was the beginning of it. All my friends, we would come, we would spend money to play the Final Fight. I started staying in the arcades at that point.
I played Final Fight, and you die a lot. You have to keep.
Yeah. Guy was the guy I used to use. Me and my buddy Charles, we used to live in the arcade. This is when I first saw the arcade. My buddy and I, we would always play this game called Violence Fight.
Is that a real game?
Yeah. A 2D fighter. And I used to use this character called Bad Blue. When they brought the Street Fighter game in, I wasn't really impressed because the original Street Fighter was garbage. That game was hurt. I think the first one they had, you have to actually punch the button.
Oh, I think I saw that before.
Yeah, they had the other one with the 6 buttons. And so that was intimidating. The most we were playing was with 3 buttons. So that was the most I've really played on those. Then Neo Geo, they had the 4 buttons. Kind of intimidated by all those buttons. So when they brought Street Fighter in, they had 6 buttons. And we were like, oh, we're not messing with that. I was ruling people on the Violence Fight. I could beat that game with 1 quarter. I was beating all the people that came up and tried to fight me. So me and my buddy Charles, we would just stay with that. But in the meantime, they had brought the Street Fighter arcade and put it in a corner. So a couple of people was playing it, but my buddy and I said, since we see the 6 buttons, we're not messing with that. That's too much. I ain't got time for that.
You mean the buttons like right now?
Yeah, 6 buttons, right. Arcade sticks got 8. But back then, it only had 6 buttons. One day we were in my buddy Charles and I were in microbiology together. And he came up to me, he said, hey man, I tried that game with all them buttons. I said, and yeah, what you think? He said, man, it's pretty good. He said, you need to try it out. It had been at the arcade for about a week though. And I'm like, what, so many people playing it? He said, man, I played it. And he said, it's real good. At night, it was about 9:30. He called me. He said, what you doing? Now, I'm in college. I'm supposed to be doing work. But I said, I ain't doing nothing. He said, let's go check that game out.
Oh, you weren't
That's why
supposed to
I
do
don't get too much. So now he had a Camaro. He came and picked me up, and we went down to the French Quarters. By this time, they had moved the arcade into the middle of the arcade because so many people was playing it. I kid you not. It's like 10 o'clock at night. The cabinet was in the middle of the arcade. 10 people waiting in line to play it. And I'm like, man, we ain't gonna be waiting. He said, no, dude, you need to try it out. It was 50 cents, and you had to put your quarter on the cabinet and wait your turn. Now, how we did that, it was an honor system. They didn't steal your quarter. And this guy was beating everybody up with dolls. When I got to the arcade, when it's my turn, well, it was like 4 people in front of me. I was able to see the characters. And so Ryu was the only character that it looked like the Ways of the Exploding Fist. He was the only one that had a bandana. So I said, I'm gonna pick that character because I ruled that Commodore 64 game. So of course I'm gonna have to use this guy. I'm kind of more familiar with that. He did fight like the guy on Ways of Exploding Fist. Yeah, he was Shoto. Yeah, the karate gis on, and they got the bandanas around their head, and they had black lips. So that's what made me start playing it. But that didn't make me stay with him though, because it was the Dragon Punch that made me stick with him though. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It was overpowered?
No, it wasn't that it was overpowered. It's just that that was something I could relate to. But once I got that Dragon Punch together, ooh, I just started clowning after that. So then a guy with he started playing Gal, and this was Gal can hit you 6 straight times, make you dizzy, and hit you again, and your game is over. I mean, you lose the match. I'm gonna have to practice that against you.
What?
That Genrai kick you doing. So that's what got it started. And I mean, I remember the very night. I remember going into, because we didn't leave the arcade. The arcade closed at 12. We didn't leave there until like 12. Yep, 12 o'clock at night. We didn't leave until like 12:30. When you got really good, you was able to stay on the arcade and nobody could get you off. You get all them times to play without paying extra.
The people who had to come in had to pay more?
They had to play their turn, and I remember ruling the spots. And I mean, I think I done fought like 30 people when I got really good, without losing.
30 people?
Yep, because I told you I found that arcade at the bus stop. You get 6 credits when you put in 1 credit. But I would go to the bus stop on a bike. It'd be like 12:30. I go sometime to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, just practicing. Playing against the arcade.
2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you're supposed to be in college and doing college work. Not good.
Well, that's why you didn't know about it.
No, I'm still in college. That's not a good example.
Woo, it became obsessive though. I understand. See, I have actually started becoming a character Ryu. See,
you were embodying Ryu?
I started to, because I mean it had became obsessed. I had become obsessive with it, and the reason being is it had got to the point where I didn't want to have to necessarily beat person. I needed to find somebody that could beat me.
What's your theories about Kuma?
It's not about Kuma. He was fine, but I was kind of disappointed because I needed Kuma to be Xing Long.
Oh.
And he wasn't Xing Long, so I don't want to talk about that though. That's how I went too far.
Dang.
Yeah, I went too far. That's.
How did you go from Street Fighter 2 to Street Fighter?
Okay.
You didn't play Street Fighter 3.
No, it came down to a decision. And I remember I'm like 21, 22 years old, and I am in college, and I was in there to get an education. Street Fighter, during that time, I had to start preparing for professionals. Go for professional school. I had to make a choice. Am I gonna stay on this Street Fighter path, or am I gonna be responsible and focus on studies?
Because you was out there at 12 o'clock at night at the bus.
Yeah, you can't do that when you're trying to go to professional schools and stuff. I started becoming obsessive. Oh yeah, because I had started getting really good. It got to the point I didn't care who I beat. I remember there's this little kid. When you're in the arcade, it's your money that you spending. You spending money to play. And I remember I had got so good, and it didn't matter who I fought. My whole objective was to demonstrate, not to beat the person.
Okay.
But I ain't gonna lie. So this little kid, he was about like 8. So now you know if a little kid spend his little 50 cent or whatever, that's his money. That little kid put his money in the system. I did 2 perfects on him and didn't even look at him.
Okay.
And he went away crying. And
Okay.
It didn't even faze me. Yeah, so it didn't even faze me. I didn't have no remorse. All I wanted to do was just beat folk. It had got to the point where I was riding my bike in neighborhoods I shouldn't have been in to fight their local champions, and I was just going in there beating up on some folk. Their local champs, they used to gamble. So if you had to spend money to fight them, I wasn't spending no money. I didn't gamble, but I destroyed them, and then they wanted to fight. So needless to say, I had to get out of there until it became a real street fight.
Until it became a real street fight.
They wanted to fight because I went in there and embarrassed them.
From a video game?
Yeah, city, it's some dangerous elements. Once I got accepted in the professional school, that was it. That took everything I had. So, yeah.